unbiased, fan-friendly Syracuse sports coverage on WSKO Syracuse. A Cumulus media station, the voice of the Central New York sports fan, The Score, 1260. Welcome to your home for local sports in Syracuse. Outside the Box Score with Mark Rowlands starts right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. As Jim and Pat have pointed out in the chat, yes, it is another solo show for me today. I texted Josh. I said, hey, are you still on this show? He said, yes, Mark, I am, but I'm quite busy at this point in the summer. So I know he takes a lot of trips and stuff around this time of the summer, goes up to a camp in Canada a lot of the weekends, so it's hard for him during the summer, but Josh is still a part of this show. He will be back at some point. No guest today, but I do have a guest coming in next week, going to do the whole show with me. So a guest co-host with me next week. His name is Johnny Gruninger. Pat knows him. Johnny's going to be coming in next week. We're going to talk a lot about golf. Johnny's a very, very, very good amateur golfer here in Syracuse, New York. The youngest person to win the Syracuse Slam, the three biggest golf events held here in central New York. He's only 21 years old still. It's unreal how good he is. And so he'll be coming out and talk a lot of golf, but he's also a diehard Syracuse sports fan. He's also a Boston Red Sox fan like I am. So we're going to be talking a lot about all of that next week. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Talk to him about his own golf game and the world of golf in general. We're going to be talking some golf today, Jim. I've got the Olympics on in the studio right now, and we've got quite the leaderboard here in Paris for the Olympic golf. I wasn't sure how Olympic golf was going to catch on, but I think people are starting to get really interested in it. It's only been back for a couple of Olympics, so, and Team USA coming off a victory last time around with Xander Schauffele. Xander looking to defend that title once again. But we're going to get into Olympic golf later. First of all, I want to talk about the world of baseball. You might see I'm currently wearing my San Francisco Giants Hawaiian shirt. And I say you might see, by the way, people out there listening in the radio world, because you can also find this show live on twitch.tv/marker_box. You can go to marker_box on Twitter. The show's live there as well right now. Or you can go to the Score 1260 YouTube channel. I'm all over the place. We got the camera set up in here. Talk to me during the breaks. Give me topics you would like to talk about. You can always make sure to do that, as Jim always says in the chat. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, follow on Twitch, follow on Twitter. All of that good stuff. Got to get the self-promotion out of the way early. But I want to talk about the world of baseball, and I'm wearing my San Francisco Giants Hawaiian shirt because it was a big night for the Giants last night. Defending National League Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell, the hard-throwing left-hander, threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds. And this is a big story, obviously, because no-hitters are always a big story, no matter what. Some people might say that no-hitters don't really matter anymore. I disagree. Snell, it was his first victory of the season. He was 0-3 coming into this start. He was struggling quite a bit in his first season in San Francisco. Walked 3, struck out 11, 114 pitches. He had never, I believe, pitched in the 9th inning prior to last night, let alone a complete game. He never had a complete game, but I'm pretty sure he had never pitched into the 9th inning prior to last night. Of course, when he finally does it, he doesn't give up a single hit. The stuff was nasty. Like I said, hard thrower, tops out at about 97 miles an hour with the fastball, big breaking ball. He's got a curveball and a slider, both of which were on fire last night. But the main reason I want to talk about this, there's Stone. What's going on, buddy? the main reason I want to talk about this is I was at a local establishment last night with some family. Ran into an uncle of mine, an aunt, some various cousins, and we were sitting there watching the end of this game. And my uncle, who is a big Boston Red Sox fan, but I would say realistically a casual baseball fan, but someone who follows the sport intently enough. I did not pitch into the ninth stone. I went 7 strong. 7 strong. He gave up a run or two, but 8 strikeouts. And he's like, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, this Snell guy. I've never heard of him. Like, he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner." What? Yeah, he won the Cy Young last year in the National League for San Diego. Huh. How long? So it's his first year with the Giants? I'm like, yeah. He signed like a decent deal in the offseason. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard the name before. And I think not only do I think that's an issue, I think that's a pretty recent issue in terms of recognizing big name pitchers. Now, Blake Snell has had a very up and down career. He sort of goes on this there's a trend that is hard to describe because it seems like it's every other year that Blake Snell is really good and then he has a really bad year. So he comes up, he's got a 3.5 ERA in his rookie year, then a 4.04, then a 1.89, then a 4.29, then a 3.2 in only 11 starts, but that was in the 2020 season, then a 4.2, then a 3.3 and a 2.5, had back-to-back good seasons, and then he falls off prior to the no-hitter tonight. He was 0-3 with an ERA up around 5. And so it makes sense from a casual fan standpoint. It's like, okay, this guy, up and down career, maybe you wouldn't have heard of him. Like, it's 2-time Cy Young Award winner, a very exclusive club in baseball, especially winning one in both leagues. That doesn't happen very often. The first one to do it was Gaylord Perry, and we've since seen Max Scherzer do it. We've seen Roger Clemens do it, but it's a very rare club to win the Cy Young in both leagues. And for someone that even is a casual baseball fan, to be unfamiliar with Blake Snell, I think is a failure on baseball's part. I'm not putting any blame on my uncle for this, because the only pitchers in recent years that I can think of that were really heavily marketed by Major League Baseball were Jacob deGrom, Clayton Kershaw, and Shohei Ohtani. They had a little bit of Jake Arrieta in there when he was on a heater. Zach Greinke's always been known. Max Scherzer sort of transcended. He was marketed fairly heavily, but not as much as deGrom, Kershaw, those guys. And keep in mind, pretty much everyone I just mentioned there, deGrom, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, Kershaw, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, Scherzer, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. And Stone, you're right. Before that, it was Lincecum. It was the Freak. It was, but MLB's always had trouble marketing its stars. Well, I shouldn't say always. Under Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball has had huge trouble marketing its stars. Mike Trout is like just now getting into more commercials. And I know he was part of a big marketing push for the movie Twisters, because Trout's sort of like an amateur weather guy. It's fun. He enjoys weather. He enjoys storms. And he was a decent part of the marketing push for that movie. But Mike Trout, who's now out for the season again with another torn meniscus, probably isn't the guy that isn't going to be the marketing tool that he was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even. They latch on to one or two guys, Major League Baseball, when there are so many, not only young, but marketable players that should be all over the place. Gunnar Henderson should be everywhere. Bobby Witt Jr. should be everywhere. Aaron Judge should be in more things. So should Juan Soto. Ohtani is the guy that they've latched on to right now, which, fair. He should be. He is the biggest star in Major League Baseball when fully healthy. It absolutely should be Shohei Ohtani. And right now, they're starting to get Judge into more things. He's doing a Paw Patrol episode, which I saw people making fun of him for on Twitter. But at the same time, that's a pretty good way to get younger viewers interested, is to get a guy like Aaron Judge to go on one of the more popular children's shows in the world, especially for kids that young. So that, I think, is good in the long run. Do I think it looks kind of stupid? Yeah, but whatever. But guys like this should always be marketed. Blake Snell was a very popular streamer on Twitch during the pandemic. He connects to audiences very well, especially a younger audience with his video game streaming and all that stuff. It's really a no-brainer to market guys like this. 2-time Cy Young Award winner. But it's a problem that Major League Baseball has, not just with pitching, but with position players. It seems like such an easy fix. We've got guys that, like I mentioned, take the young shortstops that flood the game right now. Jackson Holliday just came back up for Baltimore. Jackson Holliday is a marketing person's dream. He's young. He's incredibly talented. He was the first overall pick. And oh, yeah, his father was a Major League All-Star, a well-known Major League All-Star. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals when the Cardinals were one of the best organizations in all of baseball. People knew Matt Holliday. He was the big guy, hit a lot of home runs, really powerful. It blows my mind that he isn't everywhere. The NBA, the NFL, they don't just market the top guys. You can look at, just watch ESPN or any network that shows sports, and you will see probably 5 different commercials featuring 5 different NBA players. That's great. That's what a sports league should do. Spread the love. Major League Baseball never spreads the love when it comes to marketing, and it's something that continues to make me mad. Because the game right now, a lot of people say the game is dying. I disagree. The game right now is just as good as it's ever been. I saw a stat that no team right now is on pace for 100 wins, which is interesting to me. And it would be the first time since, it was the first time since 2014 in a full season, excluding the COVID-shortened 2020 season. It would be the first time since 2014 that a team didn't win 100 games in a season. The last team to do it, or the team with the most wins that year in 2014, was the Los Angeles Angels, led by Mike Trout and Albert Pujols and Josh Hamilton. That goes to show how long ago it's been. Josh Hamilton was still in the league. Jim says use pitchers like the NFL uses running backs. I don't even think it's that. You can't really do that anymore just because the pitchers won't allow it. I just mean from a marketing standpoint. But you'd say, okay, no team's going to win 100 games. How can the league be that good? There's 8 games separating first through fourth in the American League East in the loss column. There's 6 games separating first and third in the AL Central in the loss column. The AL West is kind of weird. So let's not talk about the AL West. The AL West kind of stinks this year. The Central is still anybody's division. 1 through 4, really. Or 1 through 3, potentially the Cubs if they get hot. The NL West is anybody's division. The Dodgers are not the juggernaut, the unbeatable force that they have been in recent years. You got the Padres 4.5 back, the Diamondbacks 4 back. Baseball right now is in a great spot in terms of parity, in terms of competitiveness. And people don't realize it because of how bad of a job Major League Baseball does marketing its stars. I can go on and on about guys that should be getting more attention. Francisco Lindor with the Mets. Likeable, fun-loving shortstop that plays in New York City. Francisco Lindor should be everywhere. I don't see him on commercials. Hardly ever do I see Francisco Lindor being one of the faces of baseball, and he should be. Julio Rodriguez out in Seattle. He should be everywhere. I already mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. Jose Ramirez for Cleveland. First place team. Third baseman. All over the place. He should be all over the place. Just another failure by Major League Baseball in terms of marketing its product when someone who I know for a fact watches baseball is like, who is this guy? And it's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Jim reminded me in the chat, we are overdue for a break. Went on a little rant there to start the show. We will be back. Phone lines open the entirety of the show, by the way. 315-671-1260 if you want to chime in. That's 315-671-1260. Call during the break so I can screen your call and we'll get you on afterwards. We'll be right back here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260.
For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem.
Yeah, I can. Stone, we can talk about whatever you want, buddy. More than happy to field your call. Number's right there on the screen. 315-671-1260. Yeah, you want to talk Sox, you want to talk Celtics, you want to talk the NFL, whatever you got, Stone. You want to promote your show? Go right ahead. Hello, everyone who doesn't normally watch the show, by the way. Feel free to talk in the chat. We've got the chat open on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You can talk through any of them. It'll pop up on my screen here. So shout out StreamYard for the awesome chat feature. Any topic you want to talk about, happy to talk about it. We're going to talk Olympics. We're going to talk some golf. But anything else, feel free. I do read all three chats. They all come up. Twitch is twitch.tv/marker_box. Same as my Twitter handle. Yeah, Simone Biles, pretty good at this whole gymnastics thing, if you ask me. I'm just saying. I'm not sure. But it seems like she's pretty good. This Olympic golf is coming down to the wire, and I love it. Oh, Xander. Birdie putt to win it all. Wait, is this 3 rounds or 4 in the Olympics? Is it 4? Yeah, someone said they thought it was 3, but I also thought it was 4 originally. That's true. It didn't say final round, so must be 4. Okay, so not to win it all, but take the lead.
Is directed.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. Phone lines open the entirety of the show, 315 671 1260. If you want to chime in, call during the breaks. I'll screen your call and we'll get you on right after. We're also live on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Twitch.tv/marker_box, which is the same as my Twitter handle at marker_box. So you can go follow me on there. Follow us on Twitch. Like and subscribe on YouTube. It's the Score 1260 YouTube channel, where we are live every single week during this show. Got the camera set up. I was just talking to Jim, talking to a couple people in the chat during the breaks. So make sure to go over there, talk to me during all the breaks, and we can have a good time. Jim just brought up a great stat, going back to baseball. My Boston Red Sox, undefeated on turf this year. I love random baseball statistics. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And that's one of those ones that I saw because the Red Sox are great on turf. They are great on Sundays, and they're great when they wear their yellow City Connect uniforms. So I say, from now on, the Red Sox should only play on Sundays, on turf, in the yellow City Connects. They won't lose a game. They'll be the best team in baseball history if that were the case. Anyway, I do want to talk a little bit about Olympic golf. I've been watching it here in the studio. I did just flip it over to Team USA basketball taking on Puerto Rico today. But the Olympic golf has intrigued me this year because, first of all, I don't know if you're going to find a much better leaderboard in the world than what's going on right now. John Rahm and Xander Schauffele are tied for first. Schauffele has a birdie opportunity on the last, so that could vault him ahead one spot. Tommy Fleetwood's one stroke back. Nikolai Højgaard and Hideki Matsuyama, 3 back. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and Thomas Dietrich and Tom Kim are all 4 back. Ludwig Oberg, Jason Day, Joaquin Niemann. The names: Eric Van Rooyen, Wyndham Clark, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry. It's awesome to watch so many high-level golfers compete, not just for a tournament, not just for FedEx Cup points, not just for the money, but seeing all these guys who take it so seriously representing their country. I know Xander Schauffele absolutely loves being on the Olympic team because it's not about the money. And you can say this about any Olympic athlete, but we see it so much more in things like golf and basketball, where it's professionals who make millions and millions of dollars doing this on a daily basis, but still care so much about representing their country. I know I've jokingly made jokes about Joel Embiid being on Team USA, and mostly joking because he could play for France. He could, he's got triple eligibility in the Olympics, but it is cool to see him say, no, I'm an American now. I want to represent the United States of America and go win a gold medal. Jason Tatum just slammed one down. And it's part of why I love the Olympics, because especially in golf, we don't see much of John Rahm anymore. And it sucks because he went to live. And we don't, some of these guys aren't. Joaquin Niemann is another one representing Chile. We don't see these live guys much anymore. And it's just good to see them playing at a high level against high competition in a 4-round format. And once again, playing against the best players in the world. Like I said, on that leaderboard, you've got the number 1 golfer in the world, the number 2 golfer in the world, the number 3 golfer in the world. Tommy Fleetwood, who is consistently in top 10s, not only in regular events, but in majors. John Rahm, major winner. I miss seeing these guys week in and week out. I watch every golf tournament, pretty much. And for me, John Rahm was always a fun guy to watch. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's got the short swing, but generates so much power, hits it a mile, always cuts the ball. He's a very interesting player to watch. And I kind of miss watching him play in a format like this, outside of the majors, which he still plays in. So I've been locked into Olympic golf, and I hope a lot of you golf fans out there have been as well, because it's a pretty damn good event. Saw Nikolai Højgaard shoot a 62 today. It's awesome. So shout out to Olympic golf. Like I said, I'm currently watching Team USA versus Puerto Rico. They're tied up at 17, and Jim says the in-game line is USA minus 34.5. Personally, I really like this U.S. Olympic team. I may or may not have a wager on them to win the gold. It's a trifecta. Don't worry. I didn't just put money on them to win gold. The odds were not that fun. But I don't see them blowing teams out, really. That hasn't been their strategy thus far, is to absolutely annihilate teams. Puerto Rico's got some NBA players on it, and it's a tough field this year. Canada's really good. France has Wembanyama, and others, like France is a really good team. Germany's really strong. So, as much as I like them to win gold, I don't know about 34.5, especially live when they're now down by 5. I just don't see it happen. And these are shorter games. So, shorter games, less time for the blowout opportunity to happen. Stone said Fleetwood pre-tournament top 10 is always a good bet. I agree. That guy's always in the top 10. That guy's all over the place. I need him to win on U.S. soil. He has still never won in the United States, and that blows my mind because the guy is such a he's such a good player. He's so much fun to watch. He's got that short follow through. He stripes everything. He's such an unbelievable ball striker. If he could get his putting down a little bit, watch out. Because the ball striking from Tommy Fleetwood in the wedge game is out of this world. We are running a little bit behind on break, so I'm going to take one right now. Feel free to call in during the break, 315-671-1260. That's 315-671-1260, and we'll be right back.
If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floatin' On By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I think it's time to look at the odds on Olympic golf. I think it's that time. I only have 2 wagers on the Olympics. Like I said, I've got the trifecta for men's basketball I have is U.S., Germany, France in that order to win gold, silver, and bronze. And USA men's volleyball to win the gold was plus 650. And I really like our volleyball. They're pretty damn good. So I don't know why the LPGA is playing this weekend. I think it's because the women's Olympic golf is next week, I think. It seems weird, but they haven't started yet. Yeah, the women haven't started yet in the Olympics, so I don't know when exactly they're starting, but it is strange that the LPGA is playing this week. Is it the 7th? Okay, so yeah. Yeah, at least, the PGA Tour took the week off, as they should. There are still Corn Ferry and Senior Tour events going on this week, I think, though. I know the Corn Ferry is going on. I'm not entirely sure about the Senior Tour. Or Champions Tour, I should say. I'll never stop calling it the Senior Tour. That's just what I call it. The team names I'm pretty good with. Once a team changes their name, I'm pretty quick with it. But it's like the DP World Tour, I still call the European Tour, even though it's not just European and it's played not just in Europe. I still call it the European Tour. No, I did not see the DraftKings proposed surcharge, but I don't like that.
Associates. Offices at 129 Walton Street, Syracuse, New York, 13202.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Jim just informed me that apparently DraftKings is considering like a surcharge on winning bets. Personally, that's not my preferred book. I use FanDuel, but I also wouldn't have to worry about that because I don't win nearly enough bets to have to worry about a surcharge. So, but seriously, if that is the case, I think that's ridiculous. That's absurd. You can't. These places, these books make so much money. So much. The house always wins. All right. I've been gambling for a number of years on sports, and the house always wins. I think in my lifetime, I think I'm like $40 up, which makes me in like the top whatever of gamblers, but with all of the money that I've put into it, it's the house always wins. Yeah, so DraftKings has announced that it intends on adding a tax surcharge on every winning wager in select high tax states starting in 2025. So, New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Vermont. Why? I know New York has the highest tax on sports books. It's 51%. So I see why that would be the case, but you talk about a great way to lose business. Oh, hey, you know that bet you just won? Yeah, you're not getting all of it. All right. I'll take my business to FanDuel or Caesars or Sportsbet or PointsBet, or MGM or the Fanatics Sportsbook. There's a million of them now. I used to use DraftKings. I still use DraftKings occasionally only for certain sports. Like I like betting college baseball on DraftKings compared to FanDuel because they have more options. But just change the odds. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Like, not smart enough to just adjust parlay payouts or futures accordingly, where only sharp bettors were noticed. Yeah. Just do that. Don't put a tax on it, because then people are going to leave. Also, Stone, congrats. Brought 200 to the Mohegan Sun last week and came out plus 1,400. Nice. That's a great night at the casino. I never even go with that much money. I very rarely go to Turning Stone, or that's really the only one I've ever been to is Turning Stone. I very rarely go to the casino, but when I do, I bring like 20, 40 bucks. And if I hit, I hit. If I don't, whatever. I've never been a big table gambler, a big slots gambler. $25 hands of blackjack all night. Wow. That is a long night. But that's a great hit. That's never been my style, mainly because, and this is a stupid way of thinking, I know about sports. It's what I've focused most of my life on is sports. So I have this sense that I'm putting my money in something that I believe will happen based on my own sense of knowledge. I can't go up to a blackjack table and say, I think I'm going to hit 21 on this. To me, that seems more like throwing away money. When in the long run, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. I have no idea what's going to happen in any sporting event, but my brain tricks me into thinking I do. So that's where the sports gambling comes in, is my area of, quote, expertise, which is probably not true, but it is something that, especially baseball, like I've looked into and studied not just the history of, but trends and all that stuff. That's why I gamble on sports and not go to casinos very often. Like I said, I'll spend 20, 40 bucks playing slots or whatever if I'm with a buddy. It's fun. I enjoy it, but it's not my preferred type of wagering. That will always be sports gambling. And now I know that I will never use DraftKings again. If they're going to start charging a surcharge on winnings, instead of, like Jim said, just make the standard odds minus 113 instead of minus 110, it's just bad business. Bad business. Stone says, I had a good table of random dudes and we all just became friends and we all came up big. Love that. That's a good night at the casino. I wish I could have a night like that. Got to take another time out. We will be back. Phone lines open, 315-671-1260. That's 315-671-1260 if you want to chime in. Coming right back here on Outside the Box Score.
For the best local beer in central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep.
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, I haven't talked about the Hall of Fame game. I did not watch it. I do not care about preseason football. Once college starts, I'll be excited. SU starts in 28 days, 4 weeks from today, August 31st, against the Ohio University Bobcats. But I actually won't be able to watch that game because I found out I am going to the Ohio State Akron game that day. I'm going to be in Ohio for a wedding that weekend, and my girlfriend, who's a big Ohio State University fan, she is a Buckeye. She got her undergrad there. And so I will be attending at the Shoe my first Ohio State football game. I told her I will not be wearing any Ohio State apparel to that one, but we also have a plan of going to the game. And I was informed by her and her father that I have to wear some form of Ohio State apparel to that one. So that's going to be exciting. I'm very excited to go to the game. The game. Minus 50.5. I'm going to be all over the Zips. I love the Zips. I told her I might buy an Akron hat. I might start a dynasty with Akron in college football. I started a Western Kentucky dynasty, and our first game was against Alabama, and I just got demolished. I think the Zips will get more than a field goal. I'm confident. Or actually, that's a 3:30 game, so I can probably watch that one. And then Coastal Carolina Dynasty, nice. I considered the Chanticleers. I did. The Fighting Chickens. But went with the Big Red instead. The Hilltoppers with Big Red. Big Red, maybe the best mascot in all of college football. That guy rocks. He's just a red menace. I just realized I forgot to take out the ads for another bar. Nah, it's fine. I've got a call to the chat. So anyone who's watching and not interacting, I've got a call for you once we come back because there's something I want to discuss. And we're back. Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. So we've been talking about the Olympics a little bit today. And I love the Olympics. I actually prefer the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics have my favorite Olympic sport, which is curling. No, I'm not joking. Curling is my favorite Olympic sport in either summer or winter. I love it. John Schuster is an American hero, skipper of the 2016 gold medal winning U.S. curling team. Matt Hamilton, all those guys. But we've been talking about the Olympics. And I've watched a fair amount. I'd say like a pretty solid amount of the gymnastics this year. And Simone Biles wins another gold today. This time it was in the women's vault. It's her 7th career gold medal, second most all time by an American female Olympian. Yeah, Stone gets it. Curling rocks. Curling's sick. I love it. But Simone Biles, who year in and year out, Olympics in and Olympics out, proves to be one of, if not the most dominant athlete on the entire American team. Not just in gymnastics. I mean, in any sport that America takes part in. I've done some thinking about this, and I want people out there, people in the chat, people listening to the show, to come up with a list of the 5 great American athletes of all time, including everything. All the Olympics, everything. Because there's no way to me that she's not in the conversation. I'm not saying she's number 1 necessarily, but she has to be in the conversation for one of the great American athletes of all time. And also in there, it's Michael Phelps, Serena Williams, just in terms of dominance, Tiger Woods, dominance within their sport. on an international level. I want to see what other people come up with. So if you're in the Twitch chat or Twitter or YouTube, wherever you may be watching or listening to this on the Score 1260, the score1260.com, the Score 1260 app, I want you to come up with 5 athletes that represent America the best. In 200 years, if you sent me forward in time 200 years and someone says, tell me about American athletics, the 5 people that I would tell them about. I'm going to think about my list a little bit more, but we're going to come back, and I want to hear, like I said, in the chat, call in 315-671-1260 during the break if you've got some. We'll take your call when we come back. So I'm going to think about it during the break. I want you to think about it, and we'll discuss when we come back to wrap things up here on Outside the Box Score.
For the best local beer in central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
Hey, John, why so glum?
Yeah, so she has to be. She has to be. I think I've got a pretty good idea. No, it's not just Olympics. That's the thing. It's American sport. So it includes the Olympics, it includes the NFL, the NBA, MLB, everything. And I still think he's not representing Team USA, but Tom Brady is one of those guys you have to say to tell the story of the NFL. So this is, send me forward 1,000 years. And someone asks, explain American sport to me. That's an interesting list because I wouldn't go 2 from one sport. I don't think you can. It's hard. 5 might be too hard. It might be 6 because there's one I think you have to get in there that another one that doesn't fall into the traditional sports category. At least not these days. But I think he has to be in there for a variety of reasons. No, it's not Tiger. We'll talk about it when we come back. It's not Tiger Woods. He's close, though. Him and Jack are both close. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. So I made a call, and Stone is done in the chat. I'm waiting to hear if Jim does it. For the list of quintessential, I would say, American athletes. And I originally said 5, but I'm now thinking it might have to be 6. Because I feel like you can't leave any of these people out. And so I've thought about it. And this is on an international stage. You get sent to the future 1,000 years. And the first thing someone says is, who are the great athletes in American history? On all levels. who defined American sport. This is the list I came up with. Simone Biles, in no particular order, by the way. Simone Biles has to be there for sheer dominance at the Olympic level. Same with Michael Phelps. I think the two of them have to be there for their accomplishments on the international stage. I think you have to put in Jackie Robinson for his story and how he made Major League Baseball what it is today and his impact on the sport, not just on the field, which he was unbelievable, but off the field as well. I think you have to throw in. I was originally going to say Michael Jordan, but I'm going to take it back. I think it has to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in my humble opinion, had the greatest all-around career of any basketball player ever. From high school, college, to the NBA, to the world stage, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think, absolutely has to be in the conversation. So that's 4. You have to put Tom Brady in there for the dominance of the NFL. 6 championships. I think, and Stone says I go MJ over anybody just because of what he meant for the culture, and that's fair. It's between Michael Jordan and Kareem for basketball, for me, personally. LeBron third. And I have no qualms with anyone saying Michael Jordan in that spot. So there's 5, but there's one more that has to be in there, in my humble opinion. So I think the number is 6, and that's Muhammad Ali. In my opinion, you cannot tell the history of American sport without Muhammad Ali. He was maybe the biggest athlete in the world when he was in his prime. Boxing, that's when boxing was boxing. That's when, obviously, when boxing was still one of the most popular sports in the world. Unlike it is today, which I think is a shame because I still love boxing. But you have to go Muhammad Ali, and that's a great point, Stone. If Ali was around in social media, in the social media era we live in right now, he'd be the biggest athlete of all time. And that's a fact. Because it wasn't just the ability in the ring, which was unmatched. It was the trash talk. It was the self-hype. It was all the dance moves he would do. It was everything surrounding Muhammad Ali. There is no way. He might be the first name I mention if I'm sent 1,000 years into the future. And they say, tell me about American sport. The first thing I might say was Muhammad Ali captured the nation as a boxer. And to this day is still regarded as not just the greatest boxer of all time, but one of the great athletes in American history. And for a boxer to be at that level, unbelievable. Yeah, Stone, he was essentially like a screenwriter when he was doing interviews. I mean, obviously the float like a butterfly, sting like a bee line is unbelievable, but just go and watch old Muhammad Ali interviews. The guy was an unbelievable wordsmith. He really was. But that's my list, and I'm sticking to it. Folks, we'll be back next week, same time, same channel, 11 o'clock, right here on the Score 1260. Hope you're there. Thanks to Stone and Jim and Chat and Pat and everyone who listens. We'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Peace.